Hello and welcome to Mama T Energy. On this podcast, we explore the journey of loving our lives through taking radical self-responsibility for mastering our mindset, actions, and frequency in alignment with what brings us joy. Today, we have a very special guest. Amanda is joining us today, and Amanda is a trained aerospace engineer who's worked for NASA. She is also a natural deep intuitive. She's helped design the exterior and interior of the crew module of NASA's Artemis program. In fact, one of her engineering jobs was designing specialized toilets for submarines, airplanes, and prisons. She used both her intuitive communication abilities and her mechanical engineering mind. For example, as she worked directly with the astronauts to develop a toilet that works in space. She's always bridged her deep intuitive gift with her agile engineering mind to create real life solutions that work both pragmatically and emotionally for people. A lifelong athlete, she was also a NCAA Division One and Division Two athlete, which drove her into emotional and physical wellness breakdown. Healing her own depression and mysterious physical ailments led her to opening to her gifts as a medical intuitive. Now she works with other female athletes who are suffering from mysterious health issues that take them out of their game on all levels. Amanda's Heal to Grow system includes her renowned body scan that reveals what's really wrong in the body, maps the path forward, and lands her back in her best condition, back in her healthy life, back in the game. She's the host of Spirit of an Athlete podcast. Amanda, welcome in. So glad to see you.
Hi. Oh, wow. Hearing that bio, it's like it flashes your life in front of your face. It's like,
Yes.
wow, I've been doing a lot of stuff.
It's amazing. And I'm so excited to have you back because I just like your energy is just such a vibe and I love being in it. So, what inspired me to reach out again was, I'm on my own healing journey and really working with my body, especially like my weight. It's been a thing my entire life. So, I had made a post about intuitive eating and really just like being in tune with my own body and what it needs rather than trying to follow some sort of fad diet or whatever. And Amanda reached out and responded and I was like, oh, I feel like we have to have a conversation about this. We need to talk about this.
Intuitive eating. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a thing. It's a thing when you finally have enough of a basis, enough of an understanding to be able to go, yeah, this not only feels good in my body, but it makes sense too. I just had a conversation with my mom this morning about all of this fun stuff because I'm on my own weight loss journey.
Right.
Yeah. And my weight loss journey, I feel like I've tried so many things. And my mom did too. And
Mhm.
she was of the mindset of let's try all the diets, all the fad diets. And I went, I'm not going down that route.
Yeah.
But I have tried increase my calorie intake, decrease my calorie intake. And ultimately, I know that my intuitive way of eating is on the lower side of what I should be intaking. That's my intuitive. And my intuition has actually been built off of the way that I fed myself most of my life. So it's interesting that we're going to have this conversation.
Ooh, I love it. Can you speak a little bit more about the lower side? What do you mean by that?
So, bro science here. Calories in, calories out, right? We
Right.
should be in a caloric deficit if we want to lose weight. Women's bodies don't work that way. That
Hmm.
math doesn't work for us. Our bodies need, so this is kind of, it goes back to being an athlete and the way that women's minds work versus men's minds work. So, as an athlete, women's minds go, if I feel good, I play good.
Hmm.
Men's minds are, if I play good, I feel good.
Yes.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So that same concept plays into how we feed ourselves.
Mm.
If I feel good, I eat good. If I eat good, then I feel good. That
Oh
plays
yeah.
into it. And it's, you know, we eat with our eyes first,
Hmm.
and women are, were potentially more along the creative line because we're female and that's a
Hmm.
feminine trait. So we eat with our eyes first a lot.
Yes.
And some women end up on the seafood diet, seafood, eat it,
Hmm.
right? If it
Yeah.
looks good, I'm going to eat it. I was at the airport yesterday and there's a Voodoo Donuts there. And if you don't know
Ooh.
what Voodoo Donuts, it's like all those crazy, amazing fad donut shops out there that just they put all of their donuts on a rotating display and they all look good. And yeah, I'm going to stand there and I'm going to go, you know what? I just had a really awesome trip. I'm going to have a donut.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
love
only
it.
going to have one. I'm not going to have 20. I'm not going to order the whole rack of rotating donuts, which is like, I think they have something like 40 donuts on display. Yeah,
Dangerous.
right. I'll take all 40, please. But it's that moment of this this is a treat. I'm not having it all the time, right?
Mhm.
There's the logic behind it. And it looks good. I'm going to enjoy this. And I would rather boost my oxytocin, my joy hormone, in this moment, eating this donut, fully present and fully aware that I want this donut and not going, oh my God, okay, if I eat this, now I have to go and run like 6 miles because that's how many miles it'll take to burn off the calories, right? Which
Yep.
is
Been there.
totally negates that oxytocin. And it's that level of intuition that
Yes.
you have to get to, knowing like this is going to bring me joy. Not, oh my God, okay, it's going to bring me joy for a second. And now I have to go run.
I love it because when we down spiral, that really just puts us in a whole nother space and a space to really hold on to the weight as well.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's, I love that you brought that forward. Oh, there was a question. I feel like it'll show up in a second. So can you talk a little bit about like what does it look like for you, like day to day when you're just, doing whatever?
Intuitive eating for me looks like if today is a powerlifting day. So I'm a power lifter. If today is a powerlifting day, I need to increase how much food I'm eating mentally, right? That's not
Mhm.
intuitively. Intuitively, what that looks like is I am going to eat a big breakfast because I love breakfast and I that's my jam right there. And if I'm working out mid-morning or mid-afternoon, I'm going to make sure that the food I eat after I'm done lifting fills me, feeds that workout that I just did.
Mhm.
So that's what a powerlifting day looks like. If it's a yoga day, so I'm also a yoga instructor, so I love yoga. If it's a yoga day, like I'm going to go to a class, not do my own practice, because there is such a difference between going to a yoga class and doing your own yoga practice. There
Mhm.
and the difference is how hard you push yourself,
Yeah. Facts.
right? So if I go to a yoga class, it's a similar thing, but generally after that workout, I don't need nearly as many calories as I did with the powerlifting.
Mhm.
And that's just my intuitive instinct. Like I'm going to go, okay, what in the world does my body need after that workout? And sometimes yoga can be an emotional release. Sometimes powerlifting can be an emotional release.
Mhm.
And I have to feed those emotions too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been on an interesting journey lately. I have to share this.
yes.
Learning about my cortisol and how my cortisol works throughout the day. And what we've learned, because I've gotten help with this, is that my cortisol spikes in the morning and
Mm.
then it trickles down, and I should be working out in the afternoon because of that. That was
Oh.
not intuitive. Intuitively, when it comes to working out, I'm going, oh, wherever I can fit it in. I'm a
Hmm.
mom, I'm a wife, I'm a coach, I'm a business owner. It's wherever I can shove it in. And now I'm finding, okay, if you're shoving it in the morning, you're going to need a nap in the afternoon. So there's payment for
Mm.
that morning workout in the afternoon, no matter what. Or you're just going to be grumpy and frustrated and annoyed by all the humans that live in your home. And that's not how I want to roll.
Yeah.
So prioritizing afternoon workouts now so that I'm not shooting my cortisol off the charts and making my body basically retain more fat.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's a
So is
wild
there
ride we're on.
a way to tell like what time is best for us? Like I would define myself as a morning person, and I would define myself as like someone who would like to I like to get my workout done and do and go or whatever. And I feel like a nice little boost during the day or whatever, but when I think about it, by the end of the day, I'm like, I'm done. Like, especially if I go play pickleball or something, I'm like, all right, cool. We're gonna get up. I'm gonna go play pickleball with my friends. We're gonna have a good time. 3 hours later, now I'm like, I was gonna go play pickleball in the evening with the evening group of people, but now I can't. I'm not gonna move. I am now on the couch.
I think that kind of goes back to are you a social workout type of person or not? Because that's
Mm,
also a thing. And then organizing like when those social activities happen, right? So for some people, that means, there's no yoga class at 9 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have to prioritize either really, really early in the morning, midday, or at night,
mhm.
right? Because that's when it's offered. And those are social events because you're with a bunch of other people. And
Right.
powerlifting can be a social event, but most of the work is not being driven by another human. And it's not like you can look around the room and go, yeah, there's other people lifting 400 pounds off the floor right now. Generally not a thing. But it's all a matter of do you need to feed that urge of being social? Pickleball is a social event, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a team sport. It's a social thing. You have to play against other humans. It's a social event. So you kind of got to roll with that piece too, because that is part of that oxytocin that we were talking about,
Hmm.
right? The joy, finding the pleasure and the joy. If you need the social aspect, man, just roll with whatever time. Uh, when it comes to finding out what time of day your body needs to work out, the very first thing that you have to ask yourself is, do I want to do it? Right? The intuitive question, do I want to do
Hmm.
it at 6 o'clock in the morning? Do I want to do it at 4 o'clock at night? Or do neither of those times sound good? First off. And that's the gut feeling. That's where intuition comes from. It's this like feel into yourself and go, oh yeah, that feels right to me, you know?
Right.
And then there's the do I need a nap after I did the thing question? Because that's an indicator. That's a big
Mhm.
indicator about your cortisol levels. If you needed a nap at some point during the waking hours during the day, then you might want to look into whether this is right or not. And some people to
Mm.
speak with about this would be functional medicine doctors, your regular general practitioner. Sometimes they have insights into this. Sometimes they'll push you in the direction of a personal trainer. They might be another person to look into asking this. Um, there's a really cool quiz you can take called pH 360. This pH 360 health quiz is where I started. And then I went and found a woman who was on my podcast, Spirit of an Athlete, who did my assessment. And what was interesting with this was online, I was one type, and with her assessment, I was just a little bit different. And I
Oh.
ended up being a different type. So I tested online as a diplomat. And right there, that word, I was just like, I don't like that word. I don't want to be a diplomat. Ugh, it sounds like a government job. Hard
Yeah.
pass. Hard pass. But then when I tested with her, I became a guardian.
Ooh,
And I was like, oh, yeah.
I like
Okay. I can
that.
get down with that. And they're right next to each other. So I
Hmm.
was on that hairy edge of either of those. And it was great to have that consultation to find out because the difference between those two types was ridiculous. Diplomats can fast. They're the only type on the entire pH 360 wheel. There's 6 different types. They're the only type that can fast.
Oh.
And they should only eat 2 to 3 meals a day. Whereas the Guardian, you can have breakfast, you can have lunch, you can have dinner, but breakfast and lunch should be bigger and dinner should be smaller.
Mhm.
And you should work out in the afternoon for both those types.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was so fun to play around with that cool little tool. And it was developed out of Australia.
Ooh.
And they use 15 different sciences, including 2 of my favorite, Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. Mm-hmm. To figure out these people's types. And when I went through it and I started learning more and more about it, I was just like, oh my gosh, like they've really hit the nail on the head when it comes to some of this stuff. And they'll give you a diet. Like, here's the foods that you should eat. Here's the foods you shouldn't eat. And here's a bunch of recipes that'd be really great for you.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, right? Because I mean, I'm on Pinterest. Yes, I'm that age. I'm on Pinterest looking for meals.
That is brilliant. I love it. So, going back, my other question just came up, and that was about the calories. And we said like women don't
Mm,
necessarily do the deficit thing. So, can you expand
mhm.
upon women's calorie intake?
Yes. So, what we found is that, we didn't really start looking at the woman's body until the 1970s, and we didn't really start looking at athletic women's bodies and women who lift weights or, do a sport or just move their darn bodies. We didn't start looking at them until the 90s,
Oh my.
right? And so our data set is pity. And what we found is that if women go into a long term deficit, their cortisol starts to spike. And with
Mhm.
cortisol spiking, guess what else spikes? Fat, retained fat. Mm-hmm.
We love
Yeah.
that.
It's fascinating. It's so fascinating. So we actually have to put ourselves into caloric maintenance or just a little above caloric maintenance into a caloric plus so that it actually revs our metabolism, speeds things up, and gets us to lose weight. Crazy. So my whole life, uh, for a good chunk of my life, I hovered in the 1200 to 1500 calorie
Mm.
range, which is not very much for a woman who's 5'8", generally was at that time around 145 pounds, tons of muscle, constantly moving my body 6 to 8 hours a day. I mean, hardcore athlete
Mhm.
most of my life. Still a hardcore athlete, just got that under control. But that amount of calories wasn't enough for when I had a baby
Mhm.
and became a mom and have a job and don't move my body as much. And it really started to play into, oh, okay, I've got to figure out a different way to do this. How about a standing desk? I'm at a standing desk right now because I love my standing desk.
Yeah.
uh it turned into, we're going to go for lots of walks. You're going to be you can label yourself as a walker now.
Yes.
And then getting your workouts in when you can. As a business owner, that becomes, one of those things I schedule on my calendar. When it
Mhm.
came to being a corporate worker who worked on NASA's Artemis program, that was, okay, should I work out before work, at lunchtime, or after work? And oh yeah, after work ain't happening because I have no energy after work. I
Yes.
had mentally exhausted myself and physically also exhausted myself because of how much mental power I was putting into what I was doing. There was no way I was working out after work. I could do yoga classes every once in a while, but that was it. And it goes back to that whole pH 360. I have to work out in the afternoon so I don't spike my cortisol thing. Like,
Mhm.
all this knowledge. And I'm going, all right, I'm just going to be a business owner and I'm just going to prioritize my workouts from 2 to 3 p.m. right before my daughter has to be picked up at the very end of my day when all of my work is done.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And do you feel like you have more energy in the evening or afternoon after your workout?
Absolutely. Yes. And I don't want to, I walk away from that workout feeling like I don't have to eat my weight in food to feel satisfied,
Mm.
which when I was doing my morning sessions, so when I was powerlift competitively, those sessions were 2 to 3 hours, depending on where I was at in my power build.
Oh, wow.
And I would come back home from that, and lunch was like, I want to eat everything in my fridge. And
Been
now
there.
I can go power lift after work at the end of my work day before I pick up my daughter, and I can eat a small dinner and still be completely and totally satisfied. Shifting that intuition has been a thing though. I had to shift it in
Hmm.
order to go, okay, will I see a difference? Because I've just been gaining and gaining and gaining weight. And that's been frustrating. And some
Oh,
of
yeah.
that's hormonal because I'm in
Oh, yeah.
perimenopause. It's fun.
Oh, that's so fun. I love that. So, can you talk about satisfaction and how do we like intuitively know what's satisfying, especially when we have those moments of like, well, what if I don't know, I put sour cream on my potato or whatever it is that people get hung up on as they're trying to, just feed their body.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So I think the best way for me to recognize when I've hit that oxytocin surge,
Mhm.
the I breastfed my daughter. And that moment where things just start to flow, and I can even feel it right now, like, okay, that was like pure bliss joy,
Mm.
right? Another moment that people can tap into is that moment after an orgasm. Pure bliss and joy. If you sit there with it and let it roll through you, right? When you ate your favorite food and you just sat with it, and every bite was just like, mmm, ah, ah, right?
Mhm.
Like you're having a damn orgasm.
Right.
That, that's how you know. If you are making those sounds, if you are feeling like the tingles all over your body, right? Those are those moments where you're just like in that bliss state.
Mm.
If your food's not doing that to you, you aren't there. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. I love that. So, with that, for those like I noticed that my like I can have that moment, right? And
Mhm.
then I'm like, well, I think I'm satisfied, but there's only like three, maybe five bites left on my plate. I probably should just like pack it up and like put it away. That would be a total thing to do. But then I think about, well, my future self won't be satisfied with just three bites of this amazing meal. I might as well just eat it right now. So can you speak on that?
That goes back to, if I have this next bite and I don't go, "Mm, ah, yeah, you're done."
I love it.
It's that simple. Throw the shit away.
I
It's
love it.
okay. Clean Plate Club is not something we have to do. There are so many people who were taught that a clean plate was the priority.
Mhm.
Clean plate was how you got to get up from the table as a kid, right? You ate all your vegetables. Now you can get up. You're an adult. Redo. Come up with a redo. If what's left on your plate is not going to satisfy you and you have a hard time throwing it away, you better find the closest homeless person and take them a little container
Mm.
or throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're in an area where you can do that, oh, mwah, right? And there are more and more and more, unfortunately, homeless people. So there's plenty of opportunity. Get yourself one of those cool little cooler bags Put it in the back of your car, place the leftovers in there, go hand it out.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna even like I feel like it fills up your satisfaction on a whole nother level, like on that humanitarian level. Like it brings
Humanitarian oxytocin level. Yeah, you're getting that oxytocin boost if that's something that fills your cup.
yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
Mm.
That
Is
is
there
a mission of mine for sure. My daughter and I, when we're in the car, I usually have gift cards, especially in the wintertime. This is one of my favorite things to do is go get a bunch of $5 Starbucks gift cards or $10 now. If they want to buy a drink and food, it has to be at least $10, but get Starbucks gift cards and hand them out to the people on the corners who are homeless and begging because it gives them an opportunity to go indoors out of the weather and get
mm,
something hot and warm in their bodies.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's like a whole like I used to do I would go to like, a Dollar General or a dollar store or whatever and just buy like a bunch of like warm socks and, feminine products and stuff like that. And I would make these baggies and I would put the like the big fruit freezer bags and I'd keep them in the back of my car and I would just hand those out on the street. And, the looks on people's faces when they received it was just so heartwarming. So it's just like, you never know what you can do for somebody else's life to make it better. And I think that this is going to air like the perfect time too for people to like get some inspiration
Heck
for,
yeah.
how you can give back and how you can um, help people out, especially in the colder months.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that idea too. Socks and feminine products are at a premium out there. Feeding the homeless. Talk about intuition,
Mm.
right? That's primal out there.
Oh
Primal
yeah.
intuition.
Right. We are all like in my belief structure, we're all oneness, right? We're all connected. And so whatever way we can do to just lift one of us up.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Mm. Is there anything else that you would like to share about intuitive eating and allowing ourselves to be intuitive with our bodies?
Find somebody who can help.
Mm.
Find someone who can, when it comes to intuitive eating, sometimes we need to be told, okay, intuitive eating isn't what's going to help you right now.
Mhm.
Right. Sometimes it's just having a friend on board with you. Did you have a joy-filled breakfast? Was that coffee that you bought at Starbucks, like just every sip of it was amazing? Right? Just having those kind of conversations with your girls or your guys. Like, we all need that. We all need those oxytocin boosts in our lives. It seems to be the thing that's lacking nowadays. So more of that joy and pleasure and
Mm.
please. More of that. More orgasms, please. In
I love it.
restaurants. I want to hear more people moaning in restaurants.
Like Harry Met Sally all day, every
Yes.
day.
Yes. She put that pasta in her face and she went, ah.
I love it. Oh my gosh, this is so good. So yummy, so juicy, so joy filled.
Yeah.
And it reminds me that like when I do post my meals on social media, like I like, especially breakfast, I call it my goddess breakfast, right? And and it makes me,
Breakfast with God.
the more colors I could put on like my plate, that's how excited I get. And it just is like a reminder for myself of like, okay, we don't have to just put that for just breakfast. Why don't we make that like every meal of every day, bringing that joy, bringing that pleasure forward? Because we get to choose that. We get to choose to have pleasure throughout our day. It's not just okay, we can have pleasure when we're not working. We can have pleasure. No, we can choose it all day long.
Absolutely. And you know what's cool is the more pleasure we have in our lives, the more we attract pleasure into our lives. We
Mhm.
become magnets of pleasure. It's
Yes.
so juicy. And that right there, that's where I want to be. That's the
Mhm.
world I want to live in.
Yes, the juiciness of life. That's what I'm here for. All right. With that being said, let's divine some juicy messages. Is there a question that you might have for the tarot today, or?
Mm. Let's stay in this lane of intuitive eating and all these hormones we were talking about, cortisol and insulin. I didn't mention, but that's one of those primary hormones that we have to pay attention to, and oxytocin. We'll stay in that lane. The question I want to ask is, the new doctor that I am about to work with, when it comes to my hormone health and my thyroid in particular, is this the right path?
That's the cards. Okay. So the first card that popped up was the Six of Wands, which is like, yeah, love that. Love that. And then we have the death and rebirth cycle. So there might be a moment of like, you feel like you're redoing a cycle, you're doing like, but really this is actually a time to just let an old version of self go, really trust, because you are planting seeds for like a whole new like life. So you're on the right path. All right. I love it.
Hallelujah. Ooh.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
There's
Fantastic.
definitely this death thing coming up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we go through, depending on how you believe in things, we go through death cycles every year. In fact, we're in one right now from a northern hemisphere cyclical process, right? We're going into winter.
Yeah.
Everything's dying. Ta-da! Death cycle. And we just went through the bridge, right? We just went through the veil. Halloween just happened for us. And now we're in November, which is shadow dancing, according to my belief system that I subscribe to. Shadow dancing. We are dancing on our own grave, essentially. So this feels very, very true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it. You're welcome. And I don't know, the death and rebirth cycle, it just made me think of like talking back about women and women's bodies, like, with our moon cycle, that's literally same thing happening all the time. And our hormones shift and change as we shift and change in age and our wisdom. So allowing some things to shed away and bring forth something new, like the phoenix.
Right. I like the phoenix. I'm a fan of the phoenix.
Yes. I love it. So how can our audience tap into your work and your podcast and all of that goodness?
Oh, okay. Well, my podcast, Spirit of an Athlete, that sucker is out there everywhere. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, it's there. I interview female athletes who have grit and have a story to share and who are helping others better their lives through their athletic experiences. So that's Spirit of an Athlete. Gutsy Chick Quiz. If you're a female athlete that has a chronic health condition that nobody's been able to solve, that is my specialty. Come take the Gutsy Chick Quiz and find out why that happens to be showing up for you. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the yummy. And then Body Whisper Healing. That's my website, bodywhisperhealing.com. You can find me at Body Whisper Healing on Facebook, Instagram. I am amanda.g.smith on Instagram. You could find Body Whisper Healing on Instagram, but then notice that should redirect you if you're paying attention. Yes, I think that's it. Yeah. Those are all the places, but go take that quiz, you guys. GutsyChickQuiz.com. Oh, it's going to be eye-opening. I'm a bruiser on that quiz. It's always fun. There's 4 different archetypes on there.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here, Amanda, sharing your magic and medicine. And you guys, you know where to find me. mamateenergy.com, all the places and spaces. And I'll catch you in the next one. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.